This will be hands down the most craziest video you'll ever watch today. Let's just start.
But you say one of the things that you should do is never eat with people you don't like.
Because your
Makes
state
sense.
of awareness will influence how your food is metabolized. There was a study done in Ohio State University where they were feeding rabbits diets that were extremely high in cholesterol. And they found to their amazement there was one group of rabbits that never got the high cholesterol levels. After a while, they found out that the technician who was feeding these rabbits, instead of just throwing the food at them, he would stroke them and pet them and cuddle them and kiss them and then feed them the same poisonous food. But now, as a result of that experience of happiness, they made chemicals inside their brain and the body that turned the cholesterol into a completely different metabolic pathway. So it's not just the food you eat, but what your awareness, what your consciousness and your state of emotions is at the time you're eating.
Eat to ease the stress.
Well, then
it turns into something else.
Yes, it's very important. In fact, one of the things I tell people is if you're not feeling good, skip the meal at that time.
So I'm about to show you 3 different examples of why I say superstitions only exist if you believe them. Because what is the first law of hermetics? Everything is mental. Everything begins as a thought. So here's some examples. We've all heard of don't put your purse on the floor because then you'll go broke. Another example. Right there. And the last one. Right here. Our emotions and fear and happiness, all of these things are things that can be transmuted. When, you hear about all the fear mongering that a lot of politicians and the media does. Why? Because it transmutes, it makes the wealthier people richer and wealthier. Because we're fearful, they're getting more money because we're acting out. They're literally transmuting our energy. So it's the same concept with everything else. If you already have in your mind that if this happens, then something bad else is going to happen. You're already calling that into your life. You're calling that into existence. You're creating these things. So just keep that in mind.
Tariffs.
Really?
Explained. Let's say Walmart buys a toy from another country for $3. They sell it to you for $5. That $2 difference? That's how Walmart pays for workers, stores, delivery trucks, and still makes some profit. But then, the government adds a tariff, basically a tax, of $1.50 on every imported toy. Now, before Walmart can even sell it, they have to pay $1.50 extra at the port, just to bring it into the country. That toy now costs Walmart $4.50 instead of $3. Walmart isn't going to lose money, so they raise the price. Now you're paying $6.50 or more for the exact same toy. It's not just toys, it's clothes, groceries, electronics. Tariffs raise costs on everything that comes from another country, or uses parts from another country. Even made-in-America items get more expensive, because many rely on imported parts or materials.
True, yeah.
And here's the thing. Walmart can't just eat that cost. Neither can your local stores. So everyone raises prices. And that hits your wallet. Now imagine this happening across every store in the country. Meanwhile, other countries hit back with tariffs of their own. That hurts US farmers and factories, because they can't sell as much overseas. So, while tariffs sound like a way to punish other countries, here's the truth. You pay for them. At the port, at the store, and in your everyday life.
Over the last 8 months, we have lost 80% of the world's bee population. Literally hundreds of millions of bees have dropped dead, and nobody knows why. The food industry is
where's the honey coming
panicking. And nobody is talking about this. In case you guys don't know how important bees are, because of these hundreds of millions of bees dropping dead, we have now lost $15 billion worth of food. This is all in less than a year. It's only been 8 months, and nobody's talking about it. One beekeeper specifically, and this one kind of bothered me the most for some reason, he said that in January he started with over 20,000 bees, and as of April he has less than 1,000, and he does not know why. And it's not just him. There are many beekeepers with bees just dropping dead. I keep seeing so many things about Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber, Selena Gomez. So much gossip. And nobody's talking about the bees. We really have to save the bees. Without bees, we are nothing. Literally.
If you lose your damn man card,
What is that? What do you mean by that?
you give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
Man, I mean, you know, one of the things you're seeing, you went to a whole different place.
Sorry.
No, I get it. So you see some guys struggling with that. You see Bieber struggling with that. You see some of these guys struggling with that.
They can't get it out of their head. They can't get it out of their head. The things that they did, no matter how they did it, whether they were drunk or high or whatever, you gave up your man card. You need therapy. And that's the thing that hurts them the most. And so they end up on drugs, end up every way to try and get rid of any principles there are. And that's what the business does. And the women that trade their bodies to go and get the role, they get to the point where they have their Oscar, they have their money, but they don't have their dream. They don't have the soul that they started with. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place, what benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. And what we were brought in here as men. We produce 1,500 sperm per heartbeat for a reason, because the aggression is necessary. You don't trade that in, no matter what.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting.
What?
Okay.
That's so
So then my
That's
assistant was
crazy.
like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's
Now I get it.
crazy.
So now no more communication.
Yeah.
Now
right.
you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that shit, because the man card means everything.
But we are not native to this place.
No. I think that we have multiple strains of DNA running through there's nobody that's walking here that is native to this place. Certainly very, very, very few.
The Sasquatch native to here?
I think more. How about more native? I don't think that they, if that's.
They've just been here longer.
Yeah. I think that there was a human experiment, and I think we're involved in the human experiment. And the human experiment has been hijacked by a number of different streams of consciousness, species, whatever you want to call them. And I think that we have not been allowed to evolve naturally as an awakening consciousness here, and we've been usurped by another species that has taken over and manipulated and used us as slaves. But I think the human line as we know it now, the human form as we know it now, was created to be a sort of a working slave species and on another prison planet. And this definitely, for sure, is a prison planet.
Look at that! The humans are developing tools. They're using that as weapons. Okay. Awesome! The humans developed fire. That's gonna really... they're using that as a weapon. Hey, look what they got there. They found a new way to transport themselves across the oceans of that planet. That's pretty cool. That's gonna help them travel. They're using it as a weapon. Okay, well this new transportation that they got seems pretty solid. They're able to fly across the world, so that's... and they're using it as a weapon. Look! Look, they're using nuclear technology. They're finally smartening up. This is going to be great for them. This was great for our society. It made us be able to travel across the stars to other planets. Oh my God, they're using it for bombs. What the hell is wrong with this planet?
I don't respect the concept of Batman because of what I understand about politics now. Rich dude owns a corporation,
yes,
has state-of-the-art equipment,
yep,
and he uses this to beat up on street-level crime. He doesn't mess with the industrialists or the super capitalists, the Murdochs or the Trumps. He rather just fuck with the purse snatchers on the corner.
One of them, man.
Batman is a conservative's wet dream. Fuck Batman.
Y'all need to understand something about Caucasians. They don't share power. If you let them in, they're coming to dominate. We are the worst victims of racism, but we understand it the least. The minute you let them in your community, they taking it. You let them in your business, they taking it. They don't share. They don't share, and we keep acting like we can share with them. They don't share. There's not a single hospital in America that's owned and funded by black people exclusively. Not one.
Can we recreate a Black Wall Street?
Absolutely can, when black people value independence. Remember, when they burned down Tulsa, when they burned down Rosewood, when they burned down Charleston, South Carolina, when they burned down Wilmington, North Carolina, because we had dozens of Black Wall Streets. Tulsa was just the most popular, right? But guess what? After they burned down, a lot of them black people came back to rebuild. You know what happened? Their children and grandchildren wanted to integrate. They did not want to have their own. We prefer white. We want access to white proximity. Remember, we had 500 hospitals that was black in America. We had 500 hospitals. Not one today. Why? We want proximity to whiteness. We move into white neighborhoods because we send our kids to white private school. We go snow bunny hopping. We love white people. And we don't want to admit it. Black people are in love with white folks. You niggas here, you love them. You love them. But we don't want to admit it. And psychologically speaking, if you don't admit you sick, you can never find a cure.
Without naming anyone
Brainwashing
specifically,
us, right?
I have a story about one of our former presidents and this idea that they can be cloned and that you might be seeing someone who looks exactly the same, but it could be a totally different biological form than the one that's the real one. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So is there some problem with the clone in terms of, like, if you had a conversation with it, does it have the same memories? Is it aware that it's a clone, or does it think it's the same person?
It's not like I was telling you earlier when we take your DNA and make you. We take partial parts of your DNA, make you as a clone without the consciousness part of it. So it's programmed into you. We program the memories into you. And, you might think you had a family and that you knew that you took this job to look like this president, up to date, all the way back, and they could even make more clones to be put with you to make you think you have a family, or you would just think, or maybe they just need you for one job.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, this is really intense. That's
crazy.
Holy book. St. George flying the dragon. Here is the Virgin Mary, the Black Madonna, Black Jesus.
Yes.
Later on, after division of Europeans, from black changed to white Virgin Mary. I can show you both painting in here inside. The original one is the black one.
Yes.
Black just. How it was to read geese. It was prayer for us, Abba.
This is crazy.
Listen him.
They've totally altered our history.
In the CIA, we didn't give a hoot about democracy. I mean, it was fine if a government was elected and would cooperate with us, but if it didn't, then democracy didn't mean a thing to us. And I don't think it means a thing today. The true goal of the United States government is control. And they feel that if the United States did not control the governments of Latin America, then somebody else would. And the principle of government by the people, for the people, of the people, that is that's just silly.
Watch this video from 25 years ago that predicts what the future will look like and tell me it's not eerie.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, possible human immortality, and at the same time, appalling acts of brutality, genocide, race baiting, homophobia, famine, starvation. The mushroom said to me once, it said, "This is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse." And that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse at the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the next dimension.
If you don't know who Terence McKenna is, I highly recommend that you do a quick Google search. He also has videos on YouTube. I would get into what he's all about, but I will get my video probably removed by TikTok, so I'll let you guys do that.
This is something you shouldn't have. What was that? Is that a dog? It's Hillary.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know. You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
Real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her.
No.
She's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
I don't like mosquitoes. I don't like those mosquitoes. I never did. Okay, speaking of mosquitoes, hello, Hillary. How are you doing?
I'm not embarrassed to say that I don't have a relationship with any of my family members. And to some people, they're like, well, you're pretty cold-hearted. The truth is, I just love myself enough to know that if I'm not around the right people, I can't function. If you don't tap into personal development, then you can count on just being a carbon copy of what you've been seeing. People you've been around, your parents mostly. And I think the highest form of self-love is finding the relationships with people that help you accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish.
Right. That has nothing to do with, like, you were talking about money hungry, or you're just after something big, or, you know, like, is his ego. No, it's just about, like, you only have one life and we want to make an impact. That's the only thing, you know, it's all about impact. But obviously, if you align yourself with the right ideologies, I think that there's nothing you cannot accomplish.
True that. I agree 100%.
The Simpsons didn't predict the future. They remembered the past. Because time isn't linear when you decode reality through sound, number, color, and symbols. This isn't a cartoon. This is a ritual, a Stargate disguised as satire. In 1998, Homer Simpson drew an equation that predicted the mass of the Higgs boson, 14 years before CERN proved it. Gematria confirms it. Homer Simpson equals 70, Higgs boson equals 70. They're showing you. This is encoding. And where does Homer work? At a nuclear plant. The company logo has the symbol of the atom, the building block of matter. But here's the deeper decode. Homer is a tomb, the Egyptian creator god who formed himself from the primordial waters. A tomb didn't need parents. He emerged from chaos just like Homer, stumbling through radiation, chaos, and explosions. And a tomb's tall white crown It mirrors a bowling pin, the exact object Homer worships in his pastime. Then there's Marge, not just a wife, but a divine feminine symbol. Her tall blue hair forms a sacred crown. Her 7 pearls are the chakras. She's always holding the family together, the emotional frequency of the home. And in 2023, a 3,500-year-old Egyptian sarcophagus was found, depicting a woman who looks exactly like Marge Simpson, down to the hair. Was this a prophecy, or did the Simpsons already know? Because Marge is not a coincidence. She's Isis, Hathor, the cosmic mother, the divine feminine hiding in plain sight. Frank Ocean knew the loop. He released a song called Pyramids, a 9-minute sonic portal through Cleopatra, strip clubs, and time glitches. And in the official artwork, he embedded The Simpsons into the pyramid. He wasn't hiding the truth, he was showing you. The Simpsons are the pyramids, cartoon frequencies, ancient memory, and media ritual. Then he launched a jewelry brand called Homer, linking it to both The Simpsons and the mythological author of the Odyssey, the journey, the loop, the code. And Frank's birthday, October 28th, the same day Stargate released in 1994. The movie Stargate told you the blueprint, a portal buried in Egypt opened by code ruled by Ra, a false god using advanced tech. And now compare the math. CERN equals 23 and Stargate equals 23. Because this isn't fiction, this is physics, ritual physics. And yes, there was a real Stargate project run by the US government. Its mission, remote viewing. Psychic spies trained to see distant people, timelines, and dimensions, using only the power of the mind. Not fantasy, declassified science. Their tool, screens, symbols, and focused targets, just like the hypnotical of the TV you watch each day. Every Simpsons episode starts the same way. The family rushes to the couch to stare into the screen. It's not just a joke, it's a ritual reenactment. You're being programmed through repetition. The screen is the new Stargate. Liquid crystal, memory, radiation, color frequency. You're not watching for fun. You're watching to remember. Now, here's the part most people miss. The Simpsons was written by physicists and mathematicians. Al Jean, Ken Keeler, Jeff Westbrook. PhDs in advanced mathematics from Harvard and Yale. They weren't just writers, they were initiates. That's why the show encoded real physics, future tech, and rituals, because predictive programming is nonlinear memory transmission. It's all traced back to the dollar, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye. Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages. This is Egypt 2.0, not with stone, but with silicon. The old bloodlines rebranded with entertainment and electricity. In 2025, it becomes official. The U.S. launches the Stargate AI program, a $500 billion initiative to dominate timelines, memory, and consciousness. The old Stargate was stone. This one is built from code, because if you can shape consciousness, you control the simulation. Now back one more time. Why does Homer love bowling? Why is his team called the Pin Pals? Because the bowling pin is the crown of a tomb. He's playing the gods, bowling down realities with physics, laughter, and entropy. This is sacred geometry in comedy form. Even the word conehead references the ancient elongated skulls of priest kings and star beings, the divine memory we've forgotten, but the Simpsons kept alive. Here are some final codes. The Simpsons equals Egypt in the Latin cipher 572. This is because Springfield is a mimic of ancient Kemet. It's the playground of gods, radiation, rebirth, and resurrection. You weren't just watching a cartoon. You were watching a ritual, a non-linear Stargate coded with color, chaos, comedy, and memory. Homer is a tomb, Marge is Isis. The screen is your solar disk. Frank Ocean revealed the loop, and the gods are bolden for timelines. You are the Stargate. Decode it, and you awaken.
We let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
Is David Blaine Jewish? I'm gonna look it up right now.
No shot, no shot.
Early life. Every time we're lying. David Blaine was raised in Brooklyn with the Russian Jewish ancestry. Every time. They're like what, 0.3% of the population? What about Harry Houdini? Let's see. That's the best of all time, right? The GOAT? Houdini's not even a Jewish name. It's an Italian name, right? Harry Houdini, Eric Wise, was born in Budapest, Republic of Hungary, to a Jewish... Not even that. His parents were Rabbi Meir Samuel Wise, a rabbi. Isn't that nuts? Okay, David Copperfield. He probably changed. A lot of them changed their names. Even Harry Houdini changed his name. His real name is Eric Wise. They go undercover. You know, Jonah Hill's real name is Jonah Feldstein.
Well, David Copperfield doesn't even do that kind of magic.
Oh, David Copperfield!
You swear to God?
Copperfield was born in New Jersey, the son of Jewish parents, Rebecca Cotton.
You're onto something. I can't even lie. Cook.
See, it's not tricks. This is Jewish Kabbalah. We can't do this on Snapchat, by the way. This is like...
Oh, so you can do it on my cake, but you can't do it on your Snapchat? You can fuck up your channel, you can fuck up my cake?
You want me to stop?
The war in Afghanistan/Iraq was not about the Twin Towers. We have no time to get into that one. As we all know, it was not the Afghans. And on the same day, we get the dancing Israelis. It was to initiate the war between Iraq, Afghanistan, and the United States of America over the body of Gilgamesh. Look it up. This is why there is always an explosion of technology right after a war happens. I know this may freak new listeners out or anyone new to this, which is why I am not going to get deep into this, as it is not of major significance right now. However, you know exactly what I'm talking about in regards to Hillary Clinton's emails.
Okay, so all the giants that you see that are petrified were turned to stone because they was destroying the sanctuary that Lilith had created for her people. And the Tartarus was a prison for the giants and the wicked ones. And so basically they started, you know, they uprose and started going throughout the land and cutting down all the trees and stuff like that in hell. And Tartarus used to be a beautiful place. And so what they did was they went out the land, started cutting down the trees and stuff like that. And so when Lilith caught word of it, she came throughout all the land and started petrifying all the giants. And she started like turning them into stone because, you know, she got that primordial magic, you know what I'm saying, where she can just turn you into stone. And so she started doing that to all the giants and all the creatures of the land that was not connected to her bloodline. So that's why you see a lot of the times you'll see the giants, people were walking or holding each other. It's because when Lilith came, she didn't play no games. She was just taking you out. She didn't ask no questions. If you wasn't from the bloodline, she was taking you out. So Lilith still reigns in this kingdom and she's going to take it back. We live in Tartarus.
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh. Now I get it.
Crazy,
so now
right?
no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in to make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman.
What if we only live in the reality where the world doesn't end? Hear me out.
What do you mean?
How many times has the world almost ended?
2012, that was one.
No, like, think about it. Many different occasions, different times, like, how many times were they talking about nuclear war? They were talking about that shit in the 70s, 80s, right?
Okay.
They're still talking about it right now. They talk about it in like early 2000s. They always have that, you know? And there are times like I'm pretty sure it got hot.
Yeah.
Now, what if we only live in the reality where it doesn't happen? Because somebody changes the dimension to the reality where it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like they manipulate our current reality and be like, boom, we're headed this direction. Let me steer us in the right one.
Who would be able to do that though?
Somebody that can control it. That's why they're messing up the Mandela effects. What if the reason so many Mandela effects are coming out is because of that?
Word.
So many new ones are coming out because they're steering us in the directions like, oh shit, it's getting hot.
Yeah.
And then boom, a new Mandela effect.
Which country is this? Guess the country by emoji.
Japan.
Easy. Japan, we go to number 2.
Number 2? Iceland.
Iceland, we go to number 3.
Belgium.
This was tricky. Belgium, and now number 4.
Taiwan.
Taiwan, try to guess this one.
Iran.
Iran, send this video to the dumbest person you know. Let's see how many they can get right. And now, try to guess this country. France, we go to number 7.
Yeah, okay. Bahrain.
Bahrain, and now the final country.
With T? It was what the
Leave your answer in the comment.
Oh, I don't know.
Rogue autonomous weapons are caused by misaligned artificial intelligence. They are like ordinary weapons, only many times more powerful. They are highly intelligent and are difficult to outrun. They can navigate complex terrain. They can track and identify targets using thermal imaging and facial recognition. These are the three dangers. Surveillance. They gather valuable intel. Sabotage. They destroy vital infrastructure. Strikes. They can be deadly dangerous. You can protect yourself and your family. Later on, we shall show you what steps to take. To accomplish their objectives, they can be deployed by air using Vampire drones. They can be equipped with mobility features like a robotic arm or outfitted with one of these weapon systems: an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, an anti-tank rocket launcher, or a flamethrower.
Oh!
Although they hunt alone, they can also be deployed in a pack for maximum damage. This is called a swarm. A swarm can communicate and coordinate to achieve its objective: killing sentient life.
What?
If you are being attacked by quadrupedal autonomous agents, these are the sounds.
Pause it for a while. This is the reason why Elon Musk was saying, AI is one of the most dangerous things human beings are creating. Because this is crazy. Like, what if, you know, there's a breakout of a glitch in their software and, you know, they go nuts all around. This is crazy. Like, whoa. And it's so dangerous. Like, its features are so dangerous. But then, yeah, the title of the video is how to stop robot dogs. So let's see, maybe it's going to make some sense. But then this is so dangerous. This is mind-bending. Let's get back to the video.
You must recognize. First, if an attack is coming, then you will hear the hum of drones in the sky.
Okay.
They sound like this.
That's so weird.
Next, their mechanical movements and operating sounds. Although quiet when alone, if a swarm is on the move, they sound like this. You may also hear the swarm communicate, like this.
What?
The heat signature of a robot dog is the same as a rabbit's, making them difficult to detect with thermal imaging. But if it is dark, mounted optic lasers or glowing sensors can be seen with the naked eye. If you make visual contact with a robot dog in your neighborhood, please alert the authorities. Anytime robot dogs are identified, warnings of the attack will be broadcast through a text message.
Crazy.
I thought they was lying when they said that the people are selling us fake bread. I really thought they was lying. But this bread is actually not freaking real. I balled it up and it opened right back up 3 times. I'm going to ball it up again for you all just so you can see that this is not real bread.
So
ball it up tight as I can. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. It's gonna open itself right back up.
And it has.
And I tried this with another piece of bread, a different brand, and it did not do it. This bread opened right back up like it was nothing.
Crazy.
This
is so scary and creepy at the same time.
Why I folded it. This is scary.
Damn, man. Crazy things are happening in this world, man. This is crazy. Like, this is one of the most shocking videos, you know, I've watched the whole of this week. This is mind-blowing. This is mind-bending. Like, I'm shocked. Like, what is going on in this world, bro? This is crazy. Okay, we've come to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any content that I post, you will be the first to get it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something new from this, because it was full of great information, and man, it's crazy. Okay, adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.